Hey guys, welcome to SexRx. I'm Victoria.
I'm Stephanie.
I'm Peyton.
I'm Mac.
And today we have a great topic for you, which I forgot to get the newspaper for. It's MRS degrees. That was funny the first time. But before we get into our topic, we're going to talk to you about what's trending.
Wow. What is trending, Victoria?
So Kim Kardashian has this app. It basically gives a bunch of like beauty tips. And it's like apparently a subscription-based thing, so you have to pay for it. But today she released this tip that obviously everybody's going to go out and try, because why wouldn't you want tape on your boobs? It's basically how she gets such great boobs in her selfies, and her trick is tape. Lots and lots of tape. Lots and lots of tape.
I don't understand why you need tape when they literally make stickers for your like they make things that stick to your boobs.
I think it's the pull-up. Or not the pull-up, the push-up, because that's what she's going for. I don't think it's a nipple thing. I think it's a cleavage thing.
Yeah, it pulls them
but
way up.
Good news, guys. Apparently, gaffer's tape works best. And guess what people in the TV business use all the time? Gaffer's tape.
Gonna have awesome boobs and
So maybe when we come back from this, we might have some great cleavage. Or not, because that's insane.
That sounds painful, though.
So this one's a little bit more depressing because it sucks. But there was a transgender bathroom bill sent to South Dakota, and they have approved it. Basically, it's a law that requires transgender students to use bathrooms and locker rooms that correspond to their sex at birth instead of the sex that or gender that they identify as. So it was passed 20 to 15 in the Senate, and as of now, it's still on the governor's desk to sign. So he says he has to study it more before making it a decision, but...
Wait, so do y'all want me in your bathroom? Like, let's think about that. Like, would you feel comfortable if I went into the ladies' restroom?
I mean, I honestly, I don't get that at all. Like,
but people you just go into the bathroom. No one goes into the bathroom to do anything other than to go into the bathroom. Like,
I know.
You know?
I mean, I feel like you're already awkward enough in the bathroom, like making sure that other people of your same gender don't see you. Like, why would you want someone who identifies it as another gender to be in the same bathroom with you?
If you're that upset about other people in the bathroom, you are paying too much attention to other people in the bathroom.
Just go in the bathroom, do your business, and leave.
I don't get that.
But back to a more, kind of happier note. It's kind of weird.
Happier.
Vaginal rejuvenation is apparently a cosmic trend sweeping the nation. So basically, it's for age-defying things.
Age-defying?
Yeah, so apparently there are some ladies out there who suffer from skin laxity and loss of plumpness around the labia minor and the labia major, and they want that shit tucked back in.
Plump it up.
So
Can't you just fluff
there
it?
used to just be this really
Gentle
invasive
massage.
procedure. It used to be like surgery, but obviously, that's pretty painful. But now there's this surgery that doesn't involve any needles at all.
What?
So basically, it's a walk-in, walk-out procedure, involves radio frequencies that heat collagen fibers and make them tighten and contract. And it only takes 30 to 60 minutes of your time.
Wow.
So, ladies out there, if you feel like you got a saggy of a JJ.
Gotta plump it up.
Yeah.
I mean, we're also all
There's
like in our
something out there
20s, so
for
we
you.
have no idea what it will be like to have
apparently-
an old lady vagina.
I'm scared
Apparently-
now.
I know, seriously, what?
Apparently, some young ladies can also have this condition. But usually it's a result of childbirth, pregnancy, or age. So that's what we have for What's Trending this week. If you want to read more about it, you can check it out online on our Facebook page.
Fantastic.
So, I lied. We're not going to get into our topic first. We're going to talk about how your week has been.
No, yeah, great.
My week has been okay. I went to the dentist twice today.
Why
What?
twice?
Because last semester, for some odd reason, I decided to schedule appointments on the same day, but hours apart. So I had to go at 9 a.m., and then I had to go again at 3 p.m.
Why didn't you just cancel one of them?
Because it's like such a pain in the butt to
Wait,
try
so
to
you went to
reschedule
both?
it.
Did you have like
Why'd
two
you need
teeth
two?
cleanings?
So the first one was a teeth cleaning, and the second one was a filling. So the first one was like relatively quick, and then the second one they like had to like numb my mouth, so I was like going like this for the rest of the day because I couldn't feel it, and it was mildly fun.
That sucks.
But
That's.
I'm
So-
not about
Oh, I
cavities.
see.
That
So
was
they were
one
like
day.
two different reasons.
two different things.
Okay,
Yeah.
I thought it was like the same thing.
Yeah.
You just randomly
No.
scheduled 2
Two
appointments
of them,
just for
right,
fun.
okay.
You love the dentist.
I
The
yeah.
dentist is so
Yeah,
fun.
totally.
Everyone loves the dentist.
No.
All right. What about you,
Well,
Stephanie?
I didn't do much. I went to a McGill party and had.
McGill is dead.
Yeah, exactly. McGill was actually pretty live.
It was okay.
Yeah, so I ended up having to take care of my drunk as shit significant other who
Always fun.
he doesn't get to go out very much because he works a lot and stuff. And so, yeah, he got a little excited with the tequila, and it was messy. But yeah, but I mean, we still had a good time before that happened. So yeah, and we had a good Valentine's Day. Went out to eat and everything.
Oh,
Got me
yeah,
some
that's right,
chocolate.
Valentine's
Yeah,
Day. I forgot
Valentine's
about
Day
that.
happened.
Oh,
Yeah, he brought me
Valentine's
chocolate.
Day.
It was good.
Oh yeah, how was that? I didn't actually get to see it yet.
Peyton, who
a
is our
corporate
new
lie.
member on the panel,
So
get to know her. How's your week been?
it's been. I had a lot of tests. I had 3 tests last week.
Oh.
3 tests last week. That's too
Like
many tests.
easy tests or like
terrible.
I
hard
mean,
tests?
2 of them were really easy. One of them was fine. It's fine. It wasn't.
It's
I don't
all
know.
fine.
It's fine. It's
Everything's
fine.
fine
I'm
if it's
fine,
under
guys.
control.
I'm fine. No, it was fine. It's just been it's just a lot of work. I haven't done anything fun.
So now you're here.
Now I'm here.
Here you
Yay.
are.
Talking about taped boobs.
Yeah.
Vaginal plumping.
Yeah.
God.
Well, oh gosh. So like this past week and a half has been horrible. So Lambda has been doing our Rainbow Review programming. So Friday I went to the McGill party plus a choir concert because I had to be in the choir concert. And Saturday was queer prom and also like this summit for teaching. And then Sunday I had to work all day. So it was like super busy. And then we just had to cancel our Pride Festival, which I'm super upset about.
I got the email about that.
Yeah.
Sucked.
Yeah, but the title of the email though. The title of the email was
What was
the aptly named Rain, check your food trucks at the door, in a reference to like that Fox News video a while ago. The aptly named Buttrick Hall, check your cojones at the door.
Buttrick.
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so it was,
Yup.
there was a silver lining
Oh, Fox.
in that. Yeah,
He's
so
so
it's
cute.
been really busy, but it's gonna start calming down soon, so that's good.
Okay.
Solid.
Cool.
All right, well, let's get right into our topic. So, MRS degrees. For those of you who don't know, Mac.
I mean, I know now.
You know now.
I know now.
But basically, an MRS degree is stereotypically used to describe a woman who goes into college solely for the purpose of finding a husband. So MRS as in Mrs. degree.
There you go.
Yes.
There we go.
Exactly.
So that's basically the definition. So have you guys have you heard of this? Do you like know anybody who actually has tried doing this?
I haven't heard of anyone. I've heard of marriage, like talked a lot about just in terms of like, but like people don't go. I've never heard of someone going to college just to find a husband. But I feel like people often associate like going to college with like starting your life as like a human adult.
Yeah.
So
I have a lot of friends whose parents will like be like, "So, have you found a husband yet?"
Yeah.
So like, I don't know, it's really weird. So like, I don't see like actual students being like wanting to find a partner. I feel like it's more the parents. I don't know.
Yeah.
So like, I see a lot of more pressure from parents than I do just students trying to find somebody.
I feel like it might be a cultural thing too.
Right.
Like it used to be more of a thing than it is now.
Yeah.
Well, because people are getting married later now. I mean, statistically, and so, I mean, a lot of people don't get married until their late 20s or early 30s, and therefore it seems like maybe for those people, college isn't the best time to establish that kind of relationship because it's so long before. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, so
It's also like so expensive that like I feel like you can't justify it unless you're super rich.
Yeah, and I feel like it's in the name. Like an MRS degree rather than like an MR degree, like when
Yeah.
women weren't really
It's very
going for
gendered.
careers as much.
Yeah.
So now that like I'm very career focused, like I'm looking to do
Yeah.
a lot later in life, I feel like I don't have that
Well,
same
yeah,
time.
Like the whole concept of an MRS degree, I think, like arose because people were just so surprised at the idea of women going to college.
It must just
Yeah,
be so
well,
that
they
they're
must
gonna
be looking
find
for a husband, right? Like
because they're not gonna do
exactly.
work.
Like, well, they're not gonna. They can't do that. But so, I mean, I think it's a lot less of a thing now. I mean, I don't know what it's like for every like social group on campus. Like for some people, I'm sure. I mean, I know for like religious students, it a lot of times is more of a thing.
Yeah, I feel like more like traditional people with like traditional ideologies might be more so with this like MRS degree.
Yeah.
I personally don't know like anybody, like any of my friends who are specifically attending college to like find someone like that to marry, but one of my friends who graduated, she had a bunch of friends who were like really religious, so they were waiting until marriage to have sex, and they had boyfriends, and like, so the way that my friend described it to me is that they might not have been exactly ready for marriage, but they pushed it more just so that they could finally have sex with their partners.
That's so
Which,
sad. That's terrible.
You know, might not be
That's not a good idea.
exactly
at
the
all.
same way as, you know, the MRS degree idea originated, but I feel like it's more of a modern maybe take on it. Is like not maybe, you know, these girls are probably going to have jobs as well, but they might still qualify as like trying to get their MRS degree simply because, you know, it wasn't necessarily the natural progression of things, I suppose, but because they felt this like pressure to wait, which is fine. I mean, if you want to do that, but I feel like you should
But don't
just
get married just
someone
because
just because you want to have sex.
Please, for the love of God, don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also I feel like, because then what if the sex is really bad? Like I don't want to. I would be very worried about that
Yeah, I hear that
personally.
brought up a lot.
Like
That's kind of a scary concept.
Yeah,
I don't
especially if you're
know.
pushing it for the sex and like the relationship's not really there. Because if the
Yeah.
sex is bad but the relationship's good, I feel like that'll be able to weather that storm.
I feel like
Yeah.
you can fix bad sex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Like
can.
if I feel okay, like on a hookup, like if it's bad, you're just gonna leave. But like if you're like in an intimate relationship
Right.
with this person emotionally, like there are things you can do to make it better.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, I find myself teaching partners like what to do. You know,
Mhm.
like if it's not too great, I'll be like, hey, you should do this.
Yeah, I mean, like
Get in there.
me
and
and
it'll be
my like husband didn't have sex until we had been dating for I want to say 2 years or something like that. I mean, that was partially because like of a religious thing that we eventually got over. So, but I mean, you know, like I'm just glad that, you know, even though we are religious, like I'm glad that we didn't really decide, oh, since we're religious, we can't have sex until marriage, because like I don't feel like that would have really been a great idea for us. And also I feel like it would have added pressure to get married faster, which, you know, is the thing. I mean, we're already married sooner than most people our age, but it was just a different situation.
Yeah,
So,
well, The Hustler did this interesting article
Yeah.
last week about getting married and a lot of these couples at Vanderbilt who have already gotten married or are engaged to be married, and there are a significant amount of them. I mean, you were quoted in the article,
Yeah.
Stephanie, so
It was in there.
there's that. But I feel like, you know, me personally, I wouldn't want to get married in college just because I wouldn't know, you know, like the modern woman
tough.
wants to have like a job and like all
Yeah.
of this stuff. And so that's why, you know, people are getting married later, and it's hard to say, you know, I'm going to devote all of this, like in an ideal world, the rest of my life to you, when especially, you know, college students don't know where they're going to go after, you know, graduation. And if they
Right.
do end up in the same city, usually those are just like starting off jobs. So like then what happens after that? So,
Yeah.
I mean, do you think that like this MRS degree is like an unhealthy like mindset, or like what are the benefits or costs or like of getting married in college, whether that's, you know, just for getting this MRS degree or just in general?
Yeah, I mean, like personally, like I don't know. My stance on it has always been that I was gonna get married after college. I was in a pretty committed relationship for a while, and we talked about getting married, and we decided that if we were gonna wait until after college. But that wasn't because like we we're like, well, maybe it won't work out because we were like pretty sure that it was going to work out. Spoiler alert, that it did not work out. No, we were just really into the idea of like finishing school and then like kind of trying to pay off that debt before we started trying to pay for a wedding and all of that because we both wanted to have like a big wedding. But like, I don't know, to each their own for me. Like if that's something that you want to do and that you're making like an informed decision and like you're you know what you're getting yourself into. And even then, if you don't know what you're getting yourself into, who am I to say not to do that, you know?
Yeah, I
So,
feel like it's a very personal thing.
Right.
You definitely have to know where you're at. I mean,
Yeah.
And it's also, I think it's also important, like, in light of the whole, like, career thing, it's very important to choose someone who wants kind of the same things as you do and is going in the same direction as you, like wants the same things out of life, things like that. Because, you know, the question gets tossed around like, oh, can the modern woman really have it all? Like, you know, career, family. And it's really important to be with somebody who will support you in whatever choice you end up making.
Right.
Because, like, you know, for instance, like you do have responsibilities when you get married, but ideally the person you marry isn't going to hold you back. Like, ideally you can still pursue your own life. You'll just, like, have someone at your side. Like, that's the ideal. Like, it doesn't always work out that way, but it yeah, like, and I think, you know, that's just a whole part of getting married, but for Vanderbilt students especially, like, we're very goal-oriented, we're very future-oriented, so it is very important to have someone who shares your vision, like, who...
And I have a lot of plans. Like,
Yeah.
I want to go to med school, I want to go to grad school, like, and I have no idea where that's going to take me. I have no idea where I'm going to go to med school, and so, like, moving and just logistics of, like, being attached to another human being, like, geographically as well. I feel like working that out, I feel like that could create a lot of conflict if you have a lot of plans and a lot of plans to sort of change and travel and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So do you guys think that it's like just this MRS degree, or do you think that there's kind of also like an MR degree that exists to an extent? Because I feel like marriage,
so.
you know, and getting married obviously is traditionally more of like a, you know, woman thing, because they're the ones that are like going to be, you know, taking care of the family and the house or whatever.
Well, I think
stereotypes, but
that's really interesting because I feel like the hookup culture is so strong in college, and I feel like when you think about guys and relationships, like personally, I jump immediately to like guys like purposefully not looking for relationships, looking for something that's completely non-committal. So that's why this has never been like a thing that I've thought about, because I think a lot about how college is just associated with hookup culture and specifically not committing to other people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, once again, I think, like, background is, like, important, or, like, because I feel like, once again, for, like, more religious, or, like, you know, for more religious guys or something, I think there would be some pressure there. I don't think it's all on women. I think there's more on women, but I think guys definitely get the whole, like, have you found a nice girl yet, too, or that kind of thing.
Right.
Like, they definitely get that, and they may not want it. They may be like, well, I just want to hook up.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I think the pressure is still there to a certain extent. I mean, whether or not they cave to it.
I feel
yeah,
like
I would agree with that. I think I feel like there's this just general pressure to like find someone and like
To pair up.
pair up.
Yeah.
And I think it goes both ways, you know. More so, I think, to girls, you know, with, you know, the whole MRS degree thing. I mean, it's in the title, but I think they definitely feel it as well on the male side.
Yeah. Once life starts to get real, once you start to think about, like, well, damn, college doesn't last forever. And it's sort of, in college, you're sort of forced to meet people. And then I feel like once you get out into the real world, it's like a little different. And I feel like it's kind of scary when you're transitioning from college to that real world. So I feel like people will start to pair up specifically so that they like can kind of ease that
They don't want to
transition.
be alone. Like,
Yeah.
I get that. That makes sense. Anyway.
So, we're going to try to stall here for a second. So we're going to do our PCND now.
Okay.
So, yeah. So, this week's PCND, which, Peyton, you are new, so you don't know what this is. I'll explain it to you. So it's pro, con, neutral, or deal breaker.
You never explained it to me.
Did I
No, the first time I was like, shit. What is going on?
All right, for Mac as well.
Thank you.
Here, this is an explanation.
Thanks, Victoria.
A little late, belated.
So basically, I'm going to tell you a situation, and we're going to debate whether it's P, pro, C, con, N, neutral, or D, deal breaker.
Okay.
So here's our situation. You're dating someone, and you find out that they are just here at Vanderbilt to find someone to marry, and they really don't give a crap about their degree. They're just in it for the lure or the ring, maybe.
I would think I was back in the 1950s, but I don't know. I mean, I'm surprised. I don't know.
I mean, if you're with someone, I feel like it would be kind of neutral. I'd kind of like an N on that one, just because if you're gonna like someone, you're gonna like them regardless of whether or not they're gonna get a degree. Like, okay, it's kind of a weird reason to go to college, but if I like you, then like I like you. I don't think that's gonna change based on like your intentions. If you have goals, like other than just specifically to find like someone to marry, then I think that's.
I think it would depend for me on like a couple of things, like how serious is the relationship or something. You know, if it was just like we've been on a couple of dates, I might be like, well, let's talk about this a little more. Like, but you know, if it was serious, I'd be like, well, okay. I mean, I might want to marry you too. I don't know. Like I feel like I would definitely. Depending once again on the situation, I might want to be with someone who was still going to get a degree and, you know, still going to have a career, but I wouldn't necessarily feel like that was like a requirement. I don't know. It's just very situational, so neutral probably.
Now that you say that, I feel like I'd be a little freaked out if it was just like a date and they were like, I'm just looking for someone to marry. I'd be like, whoa.
Yeah.
Well, and some people will do that. Some people like are. I think they feel a little superior because they're like, I only date people I plan to marry, and it's like, okay, like good for you, but don't tell me that on the first date.
Right. I don't know. Like you were saying, I feel like it really depends on where you are in the relationship. Like y'all are saying, if I was on like the first date and they're like, oh yeah, I'm only here to marry someone, like oof.
Yeah.
I mean, like that's not automatically a deal breaker for me, because it's like you said, like if you have goals, like if you want to do something with your life, like maybe college isn't for you, like academically, like maybe you have other plans, but like if your only goal is to like get married, settle down, and that's it. And even then, like if your goal is to have a family, like that's not my goal, but like I wouldn't hate you as a person.
It's not a bad goal.
Right, it's not a bad goal. But like if I was dating somebody and we'd been together for like a while, and they were like, oh, you know, like I originally came here, or I'm only here, I was only here to find someone. Like if we had like reciprocated feelings and like it was at that stage where we both like recognized each other to be like a really large part of our lives, I feel like it wouldn't be as big of a deal.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's about like what
because at that point we would have already discussed goals, you know.
Yeah.
So like
you have to
I mean,
talk
we
about
wouldn't
those
have gone like a year or two and been like, so like, what do you want to do after college? Like,
yeah, really. I think it's kind of understandable too if someone were to come to college like just looking for a significant other. I feel like, you know, a lot of people now, our culture, like a lot of people are pursuing higher education, and so it's understandable that to meet people, you would want to be in that environment and be living with those people and sort of growing with those people.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. I think, you know, if they were just in college to like find someone to marry with like no actual aspirations of like, you know, going anywhere in life, it seemed like kind of a waste of time. I think it says a lot about like, you know, where they're putting their time and money, and like if you came to college solely for this like reason of not like if you come words are hard. Not if you come to college with like, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'll find out along the way. But if you come to college saying, I don't give a crap about this, I'm just here to find, you know, a lady, a guy, or whatever, then it would be like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You have no like aspirations.
I also
What's
feel
going on?
like if you're not paying for college yourself, like if your parents are paying for college and they think that you're getting like
Yeah.
a neuroscience degree, but really you're flunking out of all your classes and you're just dating on the, I feel like that's really disrespectful to people that are paying for
Yeah, it
bigger
says a lot
programs.
about your character, I would say.
Right.
But like,
I feel like it's
sorry, if they come to college and say, eventually I would like to marry someone here,
Right, like
then that's totally different.
totally different. But if
Yeah.
it's like I'm coming to college to meet somebody, I'm gonna lie to my
Well,
parents.
yeah,
like,
I've never heard of someone doing that. That's intense.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's like
Or
what
I
comes
serious.
to
came to college because my parents wanted me to find
Yeah, well,
someone,
that's
and that's
that
the
would
sole
be
reason
even
I'm here.
weirder.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I would put, if they came just for the only, sole reason of trying to find someone to marry, I'd put that at, a con, if not a deal breaker. But if it was, something that they were definitely, highly considering along the way, I would probably give that a neutral.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Yeah, neutral at the best, con at the worst.
Yeah,
Or
probably.
deal breaker at the worst.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Worse than deal breaker.
Report them to the police.
For what crime?
I don't know. Being a jerk off? I don't know.
Okay, so we are going to sort of end our show with a lovely message from Heidi, who's currently abroad. So this is her international corner.
Oh, okay, cool.
Hunter doesn't exist
Hi everyone,
anymore.
this is Heidi Bolden reporting
She's
from
gone.
La Repubblica Dominicana. I'm studying abroad this semester, but if you remember from last semester, I am your Vandy Sex Ed representative that's going to report on facts and figures of whatever topics your crazy hosts for SexRx decide that week. So this week we have the MRS degree. So I'm going to start with a little bit of historical background. This concept of the MRS degree started in 1950s. This was when the U.S. was at an all-time high rate for marriage as well as religiosity. If you look at all those figures, for another time I'll tell you about that. At this time, education was valued for both men and women, but even more so, this was a time to get married, start your family. 1950s was also a time when birth control was a new technology. So imagine how today we value education. You get a degree, that's kind of the norm. Then our degrees were actually getting married. So imagine if you weren't married in society, that was bad enough. But then imagine if you got pregnant out of wedlock. Double whammy. So a way to really fix that and help human nature, reproductive human beings, was to get married. So speed ahead to today. A few facts today. The average age of first marriage in the U.S. 2013, 27 for women, 29 for men. So that's past college, graduate school, depending on who you are. And just for retrospect, 1990, the age was 23 for women, 26 for men. In 1960, age 20 for women, 22 for men. So we've moved ahead 7 years. Today, currently, only 1/3 of the population gets a college degree still, and half of the pregnancies of all ages are unintended. So what we have now from 1950s till now is this crossover in age of marriage and baby making. However, age of first marriage has gotten older, but baby making has stayed younger. So we've now gone out of order of traditionally getting married, then starting your family. So what that looks like today. By age 25, 44% of women have had a baby, while only 38% have been married. By age 30, 2/3 of women have had a baby, and this is typically out of wedlock. And overall, 48%, so pretty much half of firstborns, are born to unmarried women, and these women are typically in their 20s. So this obviously has some implications on society. We're having more single family households, more female-led households with children. And so implications I came up with is a greater need for birth control and barrier methods to a later point in life. So if having a child outside of union is not desired, which statistically it is not by most people, then that means that these barrier methods must be freely available and used by our sexually active members of society. Furthermore, we must have institutional support by employers, universities, whatever it might be, not only on just a social respect basis, but also it's better for the businesses if they know it's good for them economically. So who has benefited from now getting married later? And it has been directly women. women and then their partners. This includes longer marriages and more money, greater happiness. And then who doesn't benefit then from this new phenomenon of later marriage? It's directly those without college degrees, our uneducated 2/3 of the population. And then, of course, the children that arise from these unions, unfortunately. So we really need to look at how to support our uneducated population and make sure everyone has equal access to education and this purpose. So to summarize that, delayed marriage follows one of two paths. For the college-educated third of our population, it's been good. For the rest, not so much because of the rise in single-parent households. And with that, I'd like to say the MRS degree is actually not a thing then. If anything, going to college effectively is the anti-MRS degree. Because going to college means a later marriage, means more money, means longer marriages, and then it means a two-parent household. However, our cultural remittances from the past, seen as pressures to get married in college, remain alive and well. So that's one thing. But the bottom line is the MRS degree is a concept that characterizes women as greedy, menacing, inherently hypersexual, and single-minded, while implying that women don't have a real place in academia. Problematic. And then secondly, this MRS degree thing, it demonizes marriage, whereas feminists, students, religious, atheists, individuals of all genders, people want to get married. So let's more just criticize and look at the pressures for marriage critically instead of other things. And then lastly, we should always be making sure to reassess our prejudices and correct our judgments. So this would be, for example, if you see a woman in the university, she's not here to get married. It's not a thing. Similar path, if you see a person of color on campus, they're not just here because of affirmative action. That's not a thing either. And lastly, like if you see a white dude, doesn't mean that he's a wealthy frat boy who's only here because of daddy's money. Let's just be supportive. We're all here for a good reason. MRS degree, nah. And lastly, I guess I would always like to say keep in mind sexual health needs, whatever stage you are in life, whatever age. Keep these things in mind and also be on the lookout for what a healthy relationship may look like. And with that, I'm going to sign off. I'll see y'all next week.
All right, well, that was Heidi, and she's going to close out our show for us tonight. So, for all of us here at SexRx, we hope you have a great week, and there's nothing coming up this week. Do great on your tests if you have any tests. But otherwise, we'll see you back here, same time, same place. Check us out on Facebook to get the links to our What's Trending, and we'll see you then.
Bye, babies.
See ya.